And you're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. An update to last night's breaking news. Victoria police responded to the 2000 block of East Crestwood Drive in reference to a disturbance. When they arrived, they found a man lying on the sidewalk with a gunshot wound. He was given aid by officers before he was taken to a hospital where he later died from his injuries. He was identified as 57-year-old Hector Gonzalez. 3 suspects were taken into custody and a 4th one was related to the shooting has been identified. Authorities determined through a preliminary investigation that the suspects involved were in a verbal altercation with Gonzalez before the victim was shot. Now, related to the shooting, 17-year-old Logan Robles is charged with murder. He was charged with murder and engaging in organized criminal activity. A $150,000 bond was set on the engaging in organized criminal activity charge, but there's no bond on the murder charge. He currently is in the Victoria County Jail.
BPD authorities have also arrested 2 juvenile male suspects connected to yesterday's fatal shooting. A 15-year-old male charged with murder, engaging in organized criminal activity, and possession of a controlled substance. A 16-year-old male suspect charged with murder and engaging in organized criminal activity. And tonight, Victoria Police report they have identified the 4th suspect in the shooting. Part of the tabernacle stolen from St. Robert's Catholic Church in El Campo was returned 2 weeks ago. 29-year-old Jose Manuel Jaramillo of El Campo faces theft of property and criminal mischief and damage to a place of worship charges. El Campo police tell the Wharton Journal-Spectator they have 2 other persons identified as being involved in this case, but did not say whether the other missing parts of the tabernacle could be found intact.
Refugio County Sheriff's deputies and volunteer fire crews dealt with a large brush fire Thursday on Kelly Road just west of the Refugio County Airport. After the fire was put out, it was restarted due to a burning branch falling across the containment line. Fire crews put the blaze under control once again.
A community meeting held this evening to gather public input on the Victoria Transit System. 25
News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel joins us in studio with more.
That's right, Don and Karina. So representatives from the Victoria Transit Systems were at Christ's Kitchen to hear from community members on their experiences with the bus system here in Victoria. Victoria Transit System representatives said there was a gap in public input in their 5-year plan regarding the city's bus system. So they're seeking to improve that and involve those who use the bus system. Citizens voiced their concerns from issues with lack of bus transfers, adding bus stops, increasing accessibility, and any issues they may have had with some bus drivers. Joey Rosas says he uses the bus here and says the system needs dramatic improvements. He's a disabled veteran, so he's allowed a discounted rate, but says he was harassed by a driver to receive a discounted fee to ride the bus.
To just address the issues and the concerns and just blow that whistle and to treat people with more dignity, more respect, and to have a good accountability, because apparently they're not non-transparent right now. That's what this whole meeting is about, is to have the good transparency with the public, you know what I mean, and to have a good dialogue with the people, you know what I mean, because apparently some people forgot who they really work for.
Fares were paused for COVID, but that ended September 1st. Fares can range anywhere from 50 cents to $5 depending on how far you're going. Victoria Transit operates Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Saturdays, a evening route, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. They're also closed on Sundays. That 5-year regionally coordinated transportation plan began in 2022 and ends in 2026. To view that plan and the fare schedule, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Don, Karina, back to you.
Adam, thank you. And let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Saw some dark clouds in the afternoon.
A little bit of lightning there.
A little bit of lightning, heard some thunder. And so we're wondering, I don't know how much rain we got in the area, but Mac, how much rain is coming?
Well, the big ones are now beginning to get into our area. We had some shower activity earlier today, but right now let's talk about that. Here's Victoria, here's Cuero. You can see how Cuero just got hit by that thunderstorm, and there's a pocket there which we could see some significant rainfall. So a big thunderstorm rolling into the city within the hour or less, and then obviously continuing to the south. So this activity is the beginning of what could be a pretty long, busy day tomorrow. So we'll have all that coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. The Myrtle fire in Aransas Pass now 100% contained, and residents are allowed to return home. Authorities tell KIII evacuation orders ended Wednesday night. The fire burned mostly brush, and about 80 acres were consumed in this fire, but they don't know of any structures burned or destroyed in the fire.
Karnes County had its 4th earthquake this week, and this one was felt in neighboring Wilson County. KSAT reports the United States Geological Survey confirmed a 4.0 magnitude quake struck at 1:50 p.m. Thursday, about 11 miles northeast of Falls City. It was the strongest of 4 earthquakes to rattle that area this week. Karnes County hit by 3 earthquakes Monday. President Biden's son Hunter Biden indicted by special counsel David Weiss on felony gun charges.
The criminal charges come after a plea agreement struck between Hunter Biden's legal team and prosecutors fell apart earlier this summer.
President Biden's son Hunter facing up to 25 years in prison after special counsel David Weiss indicted him on 3 felony counts related to gun charges Thursday. The indictment accuses Hunter of making false statements in the purchase of a firearm and for false statements related to information required to be kept by federal firearms licensed dealer. A 3rd count accuses Hunter of possession of a firearm by a person who is an unlawful user of or addicted to a controlled substance, altogether putting the younger Biden in serious legal jeopardy just months after a plea deal in the case fell apart.
Obviously, the judge didn't like the plea deal, and that happens sometimes. The judge just doesn't think that the punishment is harsh enough based on what the charges are. Looking at the new indictment, though, they look like ticky-tack charges. They're not something that the federal government typically brings.
Hunter, back in July, ready to plead guilty to tax crimes to avoid prosecution and enter into a pretrial diversion program on the gun charge. But the deal struck with Weiss unraveling in court. Weiss, who spent 5 years investigating Hunter Biden, then asking Attorney General Merrick Garland to give him special counsel status to continue the investigation.
Upon considering his request, as well as the extraordinary circumstances relating to this matter, I have concluded that it is in the public interest to appoint him as special counsel.
Weiss was appointed by former President Donald Trump as U.S. attorney and was kept in that role after President Biden took office. Hunter's team maintains that the diversion agreement is still binding. The president and the White House so far not commenting on the indictment.
He wants to maintain the independence of the Justice Department, but he has been very vocal about his support for his son.
And even though the younger Biden's charges carry up to 25 years in prison, the special counsel notes that actual sentences for federal crimes are typically less than the maximum penalty and that a federal judge would ultimately decide after considering all factors. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
Here's your viewer poll tonight. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you believe the charges against Hunter Biden will impact the presidential election? Yes, no, or you're not sure. According to these results tonight, 21% say yes, 79% stand at no, and 0% say I'm not sure. Thank you for voting tonight. Visit us tomorrow for our latest viewer poll.
The United Auto Workers may strike at certain plants across the country tonight if a deal is not reached with General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, which is the parent of Chrysler. If an agreement is not made by midnight tonight, more than 5,000 workers at Arlington's GM plant could walk. An assistant professor of economics at UT Arlington says a strike would be a challenge for everyone.
So $500 for a worker every week compounds to somewhere around $2,200 a month. It is estimated that the UAW has a reserve of somewhere around $800 million or so. If they all strike at once, it is estimated that the resources will last for 11 weeks without health insurance.
Shorter work weeks and more retirement benefits are among the demands. By the way, when we say midnight about this strike, that's midnight Eastern time. So in less than an hour, up to about 150,000 auto workers across the country may go on strike if their demands to the big 3 automakers are not met.
United Auto Workers Union are calling for higher wages and better benefits.
Tonight, the United Auto Workers Union preparing to strike the big 3 U.S. automotive companies.
Tonight, for the first time in our history, we will strike all 3 of the big 3 at once.
The UAW president remaining adamant in their fight, saying there still is no deal with Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. Members want a 40% increase in wages and stronger benefits like cost of living adjustments, more paid time off, pensions, and increase in retiree pay.
Well, we want to bring back the American dream. We work hard, and it's time for us to get what we deserve. We just want our fair share, plain and simple.
Profits for the big three soaring, $21 billion in the first 6 months of this year. ABC's Terry Moran asking Ford CEO about his own pay increase, something union members bring up often.
They're asking about CEO pay. Yours, the CEO, made $20 million, and they say a 40% increase since the last contract. Why can't they get a 40% increase?
Well, I think, first of all, we are offering an incredible, unprecedented increase. But we can't even get any feedback from the UAW about what they want. All they want is for everyone to make $300,000. That's not sustainable. We'll go bankrupt if we do that.
Ford and GM offering a new 20% wage increase, just half of what the union is looking for. There are 10 states from Michigan to Texas with union plans for all three automakers that could see job losses if a strike happens, and it could have national impacts. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Moroccan villagers received medical attention and trauma support at a field hospital following last week's devastating earthquake. Not only are people receiving medical care, but children were seen playing with toys and being supported for trauma reasons. The 6.8 magnitude quake that struck in the mountains late last Friday killed more than 2,000 people and injured more than 5,000, making it Morocco's deadliest since 1960 and most powerful since at least 1900.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can get Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. Several people hurt after a tent collapsed in Illinois.
Also ahead, parents of a child with autism demanding charges after a video shows a school employee striking their son. Crews responded to a tent collapse that left at least 26 people hurt in a southwest suburban Benford Park this morning. A tent was set up in a parking lot when part of it collapsed around 10:45 a.m. Several neighboring cities were called to assist at the scene. Authorities said at least 26 people were hurt in the collapse and transported to hospitals. 5 were seriously injured. No foul play is suspected, but police are still investigating. 2 parents in Ohio have shared some disturbing video.
They're demanding charges after a video shows a school employee striking their son who has autism.
This morning, an Ohio family is demanding answers after seeing this video appearing to show a teacher's aide striking their nonverbal 3-year-old at school.
He wasn't doing anything wrong. He was running away.
Braylon Tootle has autism. He was running down the hall with the teacher's aide chasing him. The aide then hits Braylon in the head, knocking him down, then picking him up by his feet. As he dangles, another employee rushes in.
You could have bear hugged him. You could have let another teacher do it. I don't know what was going on in that man's head, but my son did not deserve that.
Braylon's parents say they were told later that day that something had happened, but they didn't know he had been hit until they requested the video.
You say something to a kid that's nonverbal, you don't get a response. So we wouldn't know. We wouldn't have a clue what was going on through our kid.
The family is calling for the teacher's aide, who has since been fired, to face charges. The school superintendent says the district will be taking additional measures to make sure all employees are properly trained and qualified for their positions in an effort to prevent such incidents from occurring in the future.
Our kids need help. Society needs to be educated on autism, and they need to be trained to deal with these kids.
Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
A 27-year-old man charged with pointing a gun at a person in a bagel shop on the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill campus was in court today. He's charged with a felony, carrying a gun on educational property, misdemeanor assault by pointing a gun, and misdemeanor communicating threats. He pointed a gun at a man in the bagel shop on Wednesday and told him he would kill him. A judge increased his bond to $50,000. If he makes bond, he will be required to wear an ankle monitor. As COVID-19 cases rise and people get ready to receive new booster shots,
many households that were given aid during the pandemic for food are now reporting having to go without it.
32 states provided additional food assistance throughout the pandemic. That assistance ended March 1st and was a result of special pandemic aid known as emergency allotments. Now, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, 1 in 4 households that received extra help to buy food are reporting sometimes or often not having enough to eat. The exact reduction in benefits varied by household size and income, but households received at least $95 less per month. These estimations are now consistent with states that chose not to participate in emergency allotments programs. Food insecurity and a lack of access to nutrition is a rising public health issue in the United States, as it's associated with poor health outcomes such as type 2 diabetes, according to the CDC. With this Medical Minute, I'm Justin Finch, ABC News.
New York police arrested at least 24 protesters this morning. They were outside the Citigroup headquarters in an area of Manhattan. Police made the arrests after protesters blocked employees from getting to work. The demonstration part of Climate Week. Protesters targeted Citigroup because they say the bank helps fund the fossil fuel industry. It comes as the United Nations prepares to hold a climate summit next week.
Well, good evening, everybody. We've got some big storms headed into our area. Here's Victoria. You can see the big thunderstorm. It's already about nursery, so it's going to be rolling through town within the next few minutes. This activity is only the beginning. It's going to be kind of like this all day long tomorrow. We'll take a look at your forecast and take a look at the tropics coming up in a moment. Well, get ready for some incoming thunder and lightning, folks. You might be hearing it already. We've got a big thunderstorm just about to come into the city. There's Victoria. You can see how the storm is just on top of us. Now, this is a fast-moving system, so I don't expect any kind of flooding, but there's going to be a lot of lightning and thunder with this thing. Now, is there any hail? Well, the top, you can see the little blue area here. That means that there is probably a hail core. I don't think that it's reaching the ground. However, let's just say hail is possible, but it would be small, probably the size of a marble or something like that. Now, this activity, again, is like the second wave that we're getting through here. We got the first one earlier today, and there's a lot more coming out of the West Texas area. You notice that they're all coming sort of from the northwest down to the southeast. That's the pattern that we're going to be dealing with for the next couple of days. We've got this frontal system. This is causing the lifting. We've got, of course, the jet streams streaming all that stuff down here. And then there's lower pressures out in West Texas. Remember the dome? The dome is gone. Dome is not even close by. And because of that frontal system, there's fall weather in some places of Texas. While we did get up to 99 today, look at that, 86 in Abilene and only 76 as the high temperature in Amarillo. Even Dallas was dancing in the streets with highs in the 70s. Now tomorrow we'll still be on the warm side of the front, so we'll still be in the 90s, but you're going to see a lot more cloud cover. You're going to see a lot of shower activity on and off during the day. Now I put the future tracker into motion as far out as we can go. Tuesday, between now and Tuesday, the Crossroads is going to see 1 to 2 solid inches of rain, which is really good. We need the rain, but we don't need the flooding or the damage problems. Some areas will get a lot more down to the southwest. Looks like Houston will get not quite as much as us. Well, let's talk about the tropics because it's still very busy, but it's not going to be bothering us. This is Lee. Lee is getting raggedy, but Lee is going to be rolling northward and hitting Nova Scotia over the weekend as a Category 1. So not a huge problem, just some nasty weather. Then we have Margot, which is out here sort of wandering around in the mid-Atlantic. And we actually have another system that's organizing right about now. We're going to watch that one, but still it looks like it will stay out in the Atlantic. So your day planner for tomorrow, looking for cloudy skies or partly cloudy skies and scattered showers during the day, getting a high of 90 in the Port Lavaca area. For those of you in Cuero, you're going to see more stormy weather coming through, especially in the afternoon hours with a high of about 91. I went and put it an alert day because everybody's going to be affected by that rain tomorrow. It looks pretty significant, and I think really Friday into Saturday, overnight, it's going to be pretty stormy. So, you know, we're getting ready for this activity over the weekend. And then by Sunday, we'll see fewer showers. And then we'll finally see, you know, getting back to regular kind of summer weather with scattered showers and warm and humid weather. But don't see any more hundreds in the forecast. So get ready. There's a big storm coming into the city within the next few minutes. If you need to travel, I would give it an hour before that system moves through the region. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We want you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Mr. Gino with sports.
Thanks, Mac. The Frio Bobcats are on the sidelines after today's news. See what that is after the break. Howdy Crossroads. Unfortunate news out of Bobcat country. Refugio's Week 4 opponent, the Bishop Badgers, are forfeiting tomorrow's game. Bobcat head coach Jason Herring confirmed the news, saying many of the athletes were not healthy enough to play on the Bishop squad. The Bobcats were given a 2-0 victory and will try to find an opponent for tomorrow or just prepare for the first district game, which is against Bloomington next week. And speaking of Refugio, the game of the week has featured yet another athlete of the week. This time it's royalty out of Refugio. Big-time players show up in big-time games, and running back Jordan King showed up in the biggest moment of the season so far. The game plan heading into Friday night was to run the ball and take whatever the defense gives them. Well, King got a lot of the work on the ground, and the Bobcats needed every yard he could muster in the victory. The Bobcats trailed heading into halftime, but Refugio head coach Jason Herring preached they just needed to keep fighting and stay bonded to make it through, and they did.
My mindset in the game was just to go out and do what it takes to win the game and just keep fighting to the end. And with the coaches, it was just they just had us well prepared and just they knew what it takes to win the game. It was just we had to come through and just follow the game plan.
The Refugio Bobcats just edged out the Edna Cowboys in the second overtime, which ended in questionable fashion. But either way, King does not focus on the past.
We just don't listen to that kind of stuff. We just let them talk and just keep going about our business. I just thought we just get better and better every week, and we just come closer and just grow a stronger bond, and we just get better every week.
King prays before every game, thanking the Lord that he is able to play the game he loves and to keep him injury-free. Football is not Jordan's only sport that he excels in. He was also on the state championship track team, running the 100-meter dash and 4x100-meter relay as an alternate, also with throwing discus and shot put. The running back gets in the mindset before a game by listening to Rod Wave and Young Boy before games and does not shy away from the big moment.
It means a lot. It's just knowing that I have to come out and compete and just be the best I can be. It just puts more pressure on my shoulders, and they say pressure makes diamond. I think I'm a diamond. Yeah, but I just try to just my mindset just don't go down. Just keep going till I can't go no more.
Coming from a prestigious town like Refugio, the goal is always a state title. Individually, however, King wants to end the season with 2,000 yards rushing and 25 touchdowns. Currently, he sits just over 500 yards and 9 touchdowns. In the game of the week, Jordan King rushed for 235 yards and 3 touchdowns in the double overtime victory over Edna to become this week's Athlete of the Week. And don't forget to join us tomorrow for Crossroads Football Live, where we will have more highlights and scores from all around the Crossroads. And by what Max said earlier, you may need to bring an umbrella with all this rain. Don and Karina, back to you.
Now, by the way, Refugio starts district play next week against Bloomington, but both Refugio and Bloomington don't have games now tomorrow night?
Yeah, so both teams are going to have an extra week of preparation. That's if Coach Herring can't find a matchup in the late night hours. Who knows? Maybe we'll see something happen there. But yeah, Bloomington and Refugio will both have their first district game next week, and it'll be exciting because, I mean, when you get 2 weeks to prepare for an opponent, anything can happen. So be looking forward for that.
And that's because Bloomington gets the forfeit win this week because Runge doesn't have enough players.
Yeah, Runge moved from 11-man to 6-man, which canceled all of their games for the rest of the year. So
thank you for that.
All right, thanks Don and thanks Gino. Now stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, NSYNC teases its new first song in 21 years.
An elementary school in Topeka, Kansas are contributing to the pollinator population while learning about an insect's life cycle. For the past month, students got to see the progression of monarch butterflies from caterpillar to butterfly in their own classroom. On Wednesday, the school took a field trip where students tagged and released the monarch butterflies. The butterflies began migrating south to Mexico for the winter. Bye, 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 it turns out was a lie. NSYNC back and has released a 40-second tease of a brand new song. It's the first they've recorded together in 21 years. The song Better Place comes from the soundtrack to the upcoming Trolls Band Together movie. NSYNC member Justin Timberlake voices one of the characters in the film. It comes 2 days after NSYNC made a surprise appearance together at the MTV Video Music Awards. And as NSYNC would say, Mac, if you don't bring us rain soon, you'll be tearing up my heart. But the rain is here.
The rain is here. It is outside, folks. It's coming down hard here in the studio. If you can avoid travel in the next hour or 30 minutes, this is moving very quickly through the city. It's dropping heavy rain. There may be a little small hail, probably the size of a marble. But like I said, this is all moving through very quickly, and by 11:30 it'll all be gone. So just remember that tomorrow is Friday, and it's going to be a little on the wet side as more thunder showers are expected to roll through the area.
Thank you, Mac. And tomorrow, Friday, is the day when Americans can double up on one of their favorite foods. September 15th is National Double Cheeseburger Day. While the hamburger sandwich first appeared in the early 20th century, there is dispute over exactly where that happened. To celebrate the day, it is suggested you grill out or share pictures of your meal at your favorite burger joint on social media.
But don't eat a cheeseburger outside right now because it gets really wet. And so would you.
Soggy.
It'd be soggy bread. Soggy bread.
Oh, excited for hamburger day and perfect for Friday too.
Yeah. Well, we're hearing the thunder out there, folks, so you're probably going to get it any minute now.
That's right. Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join Catalina Astorine, meteorologist Trey Mining, 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Have a good night, everybody.